Hi, and welcome back to the Magento Mechanics course for web Magento development. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to change the CSS for anywhere on our site. This will help us enable to change the look and feel of our site much more. In the last lesson, we covered about how to add a logo and how to change pictures. We talked about packages and themes. In this lesson, we're going to cover on how to change the CSS, and in our example, we're going to change the logo, the size of the logo. As we see, we added this logo last time, and this logo is much bigger than we intended to. So really, what we should have done is we really should have resized the image. That would be the best solution. But in our case, we're going to use it as a case example to show how to do the CSS and how to change it. Once we know how to change the CSS on this image, we can change the CSS to any other class or any part of the site. So let's go here and go find our CSS file. Remember, we spoke last time about how we can find where our theme is. So we're going to quickly double check and make sure that we're in the right place here. Log in into the backend. I'm going to go into the configuration, check my design section. I'm looking for the package. It says it's default. The theme is also default since it's empty. We're going to make sure that there's no design changes, that there's no other theme being used temporarily. Now that we know that, we're going to go and find our file. Now I've got this Magento installation loaded up in a program called PHP Storm. It's available for both Mac and Windows. It's a very good program. It has an additional plugin called Magento, which we'll talk about in further lessons when we come to the more of the coding part. In this case, we're looking for the CSS file, so we're going to go here and look into the folder called skin. Here it's a little bit more organized. You can see we're looking for the skin of our website. We're looking specifically for the front end, which is the customer-facing website, not the back end. We're looking for our default package, and in there we're looking for the theme called default. Now in here you can see we have our CSS and images folder. Yesterday we went into the images folder here and we added our Ubuntu logo 32.png. We're going to go back up and we're going to go into the CSS folder. There's a few CSS files, but really all the CSS that we want to look to is in styles of CSS. This one is for the styles.-ie is for Internet Explorer specific bugs, issues that it has. This is for when printing pages. So anytime you want to print a page, you want to control how it will look like in Magento, you can change it to print. This is for the OAuth. We'll talk about that in further lessons, but most of the website, if not all of it, is in styles.css. So what we want to do is we want to add some CSS here. But before we do that, we have to see how we can identify how we could select this image and see what's going on and change that CSS. So we're going to inspect the element and see it's an image tag. It doesn't seem to have any classes, but it's encased in an A tag that has a class called logo, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a new rule for the class logo and then an image contained within it. And we're going to give it a width and a height of 50 pixels. We're going to save the file and we're going to refresh our page. And as you can see right away, this has changed, and essentially now the logo is smaller and a much nicer design and much nicer fit. And we were able to change the CSS. You see, I'm hitting the My Account page. The same thing. We could take any area and we could change it. We could, let's say, take this button, for example, as Create Account button. So in this case, it's a span that's inside a button with a class of button. Now, before we do any of those changes, we want to be two things we have to keep in mind. First of all, there may be already rules for this class. So as you can see on the right-hand side, on line 292, there are some rules like it should float right. It has a margin of left of 5 pixels, and there's some other stuff here for just buttons in general. So a lot of times what might be worth it is to go to the actual rule. So we can go, let's say, to line 292 over here, and we could then change what we want to for this button. But the reason I bring that up is because once we go to this rule, we'll realize that this will apply to many other buttons. So if, let's say, we're going to set a background color of, let's say, a blue, we should see that effect on some of the things. Whoops, no, that was on the button, not on the span. We need to set it on the inner span. Let's see where this class is. We looked at the button, but we need to look at the span. This is at line 152. Excuse me. So if we head over to line 152, we can see over here how we have this background color here. If we change this to, let's say, blue, all the buttons will change to blue. So this is in a way very liberating, because we can make the change in one place and it'll apply in many places. But we also have to keep in mind that this will change everywhere. So if we want to specifically change it for a specific button, we would have to give it a specific class or ID, actually, would be the best way to go about it. And that is for further lessons. But what I want to show you over here is how easy it is to take something, anything in Magento over here, and make easy CSS changes. It's pretty much all in the style.css. We're going to undo this background blue, but we're going to keep our small logo for now. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and can't wait to see you next time.